નમસ્તે ને જય જીનેન્દ્ર બધાને. આજે આપણે પાછા રાજીવભાઈ હારે જોડાઈએ છીએ અને we are going to be speaking about the Sakalarhat Stotra and continuing from where we left off last time. Rajeevbhai, please can you take over?
Thank you very much, Jai Jinendra, everyone. I think for those of you who joined last week, do apologies. I think I had some technical issues with my Zoom connection. In fact, it was quite funny because I was talking to myself about half an hour before I realized that everyone had I'd lost the connection to everyone else. So I shall carry on from what we I'll just repeat. So some of them might be repeat because I think most people did join in and we did about half an hour of it before I lost everyone. But just for the sake of continuity, So let's carry on. So I think hopefully...
Sorry, Rajibhai, I think Ajit Bhai has raised his hand.
Yeah, Ajit Bhai?
Thank you, Rajiv. I'm just trying to put my video on, but now I can. Okay. I just wanted to come in because Sandeep Bhai said thank you very much for covering for the last 3 weeks. I won't be able to stay for the whole session, but I just wanted to thank you for covering for me for the
most welcome,
last 3 weeks. Yeah, thank you very much. I'm so very welcome. And as usual, we'll carry on from next week. But if you find that you need another week, don't hesitate. Just let me know.
Thank you.
I know Sandeep did tell me that you couldn't complete the whole. I know I told him that I would need several weeks rather than 2-3 weeks. But thank you very much for covering.
You're most welcome.
Carry on. Thank you.
Thank you. Right. So can you let me just share my screen? Share. Can you see my screen, Kavit Bhai?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you very much. So I think for those of you who are new or who did not join the first session, very briefly, Sakalarhat Stotra is a stuti which was composed by Acharya Hemchandra somewhere around the 11th, 12th century. It's a beautiful poetic composition and it's in reverence to all the 24 Tirthankars. I found it quite appropriate to discuss this prayer, especially knowing that Oshwal Center has got a beautiful derasar, and it's one of the and it's also got the murtis of all the 24 Tirthankars within its pristine compound. So, and then I think if people do learn this prayer, then it's wonderful, because there are couplets for each Tirthankar, 2 verses, two lines for each Tirthankar. So in the first session, we had got up to the Padma Prabhu. So I will now go and carry on from then on. Let's see, hide. Right. So what I've done is, at the end of this lecture, I obviously will be sharing the presentation. In fact, it's actually on the website, which I'll share the details with you. So rather than going through all the words word to word, and in the interest of time, I've actually earmarked some of the words which I'll be discussing. And the rest, obviously, you could look through in your own spare time. So now we are going to be discussing this particular verse, which is venerating Suparswanath Bhagwan. So Sri Suparsva Jinendraya Mahendra Mahitamgre Namastar tu Varna Sanga Gagana Bhoga Bhasvate. So the first line is saying Sri Suparsva Jinendraya. Now this is quite interesting to know, and obviously the endings in Sanskrit are the most important. So Suparsva is actually a noun. So like my name is a noun, your name is a noun. So Suparsva is a noun, and the ending is the one which is very common and which gives different meanings to the word. So in this case here, Jinendraya is the ending is AYA, I. So like, for example, we often say Ganeshaya Namaha, Mahaviraya Namaha. And so that ending I means two. So Om Shivaya Namaha. So I'm giving obeisance to Shiva. So that's the reason why you can see it's Aya, and you can see it's very common to many other when we say prayers, and all what that I is designating to the 7th Tirthankar Suparswanath Bhagwan. So Sri Suparsva Jinendraya. Mahendra. So as you can see again here, Mahendra is the compound of 2 words, Maha and Indra. So and for example, you could see many other words in Sanskrit which are compound words like Mahatma, Maharishi. So Maha means great, and Indra means the ruler of the celestial gods. So what this is designating is, just as in Earth we have the population, and then you've got the kings and the prime ministers. In the Devlok, you have got many devs and devis, but then again they've got a hierarchy of someone who is going to be the king of all the heavenly regions, and that person is Mahendra. So he's a king or the ruler of the celestial gods. And Mahit means honor, worship, or revere. And this word also comes up in Logos, Kittiya Vandiya Mahiya, Je Logos Uttama Siddha. So Mahit again means honor or worship. So now let's look at what this verse means. Obeisance to Sri Suparswanath Bhagwan, who is like a sun in the sky for the 4-fold congregation, sadhus, sadhvis, shravak, and shravikas. Now, when a Tirthankar gets Kevalgnan, the first thing which they do is establish the Sangh. That's why they call Tirth. So like Tirthankar, the word Tirth actually means someone who establishes a Tirth, and Tirth in another word is Sangh. And Sangh means this 4-fold congregation. Tirthankar Kevalgnan thai pachij, not when they take the Diksha. Only after they get the Kevalgnan and all the Tirthankars, then they establish a Tirth, which is called a Sangh, and it's sadhus, sadhvis, shravak, and shravikas. Now, the poet has used the sun in the sky. We all know that for our own existence, we cannot survive without the sun. So without the sun, there will be no life, there will be no existence. So the Acharya Hemchandra has actually used this as an analogy, saying that Suparswanath Bhagwan is like a sun in the sky to the 4-fold congregation. So for this 4-fold congregation, they will not be able to survive were it not for Suparswanath Bhagwan being there and establishing it. So it's kind of a linkage. And whose feet were worshipped by the Indra, king of the heavenly region. So this is again showing the importance that, from one perspective, you can imagine that if you're in Devlok, and in Devlok, and let's just take an analogy on Earth. So suppose you went to the G20 summit and you had a congregation of all these prime ministers of the world, of America, India, UK, and all this. And then suppose someone comes and all these prime ministers or presidents, they come and bow down to someone. Wouldn't you start wondering that these are all the most powerful people in the entire world? And who are they bowing down to? Someone. Who is this person? So this is kind of giving a similar analogy that Devlokmapan, all these devs and devis have got immense powers. They've got immense beauty. And then there's someone who is the king of them all. So having the utmost power. And this Mahendra is actually now bowing down to someone. It then makes you wonder, who is this person? Naman kare છે. And that just gives you the magnanimity કે સુપરસોન ભગવાન કેવા છે આપણા ભગવાન કે even જે ઇન્દ્રના જે greatest ઇન્દ્ર છે એને પણ એને વંદન કરીએ છીએ. So this is giving that kind of analogy. So the next one is to Chandra Prabhu. So Chandra Prabha, Prabhos Chandra, Marichi Nicha Yojvalla, Murtir Murta Sita Dhyana, Nirmiteva Shriyestuvaha. So Chandra Prabha is the 8th Tirthankar, Chandra Prabhu Bhagwan. And then Prabhu. And over here you can see Chandra Prabha, Prabhos Chandra. So Prabhu means Lord or Master. And again, these are kind of Sanskrit rules, which I will not go into too much detail. But then what happens is that the Visarg is something which has got the 2 dots. It's the ha sound which comes out. So Namaha, Chandra Prabhaha. So it's that Visarg is called the H sound which comes up. And then there are again all these various rules in Sanskrit that when you want to combine or join words, then this in this Chandra Prabha, there's a Visarg at the end, and then it's going to be followed by the next one, which is Cha. Then what happens is that Prabhu becomes Prabho. So that becomes Prabhos Chandra. And now let's look at the meaning of the word, of this verse. May Chandra Prabhu Bhagwan, whose body is as white as the moonlight rays, as though created by the purest form of meditation, Shukla Dhyan, endow you with spiritual wealth. Now, as you know, all our Tirthankars have got particular colors. So આપણા ચૈત્યમંદિરમાં પણ આવે છે પદ્મા પ્રભુને વાસુ પૂજે જોઈ રાતા કહીએ ચંદ્ર પ્રભુને સુવિધા દો ઉજ્જવલ લઈએ મલ્લીનાથને પારસોનાથ દો નીલા નિરખ્યા મુનિ સુરતને નેમનાથ દો અંજન સરીખા. So Chandra Prabhu Bhagwan is associated with kind of white color. Padma Prabhu Bhagwan is associated with red color. Parshvanath Bhagwan is again associated with green color. Muni Surat Swami Bhagwan is associated with black color. And all the kind of the other 16 Tirthankars are associated with kind of a golden color. So Chandra Prabhu Bhagwan's actual, the color associated with this Bhagwan is white. So you can see how the poet is actually combining or utilizing some of the properties of Chandra Prabhu Bhagwan. His name is Chandra Prabhu Bhagwan. So again, then he's using the moonlight rays in his kind of the poetic composition. So may Chandra Prabhu Bhagwan, whose body is as white as the moonlight rays. So as you can see, Marichi, ray of light. And as though created by the purest form of meditation. So it's again linking, moonlight rays actually pure je, it's again through the form of Shukla Dhyan. Now, there are 4 kinds of meditation, or 4 kinds of thinking. So when we're doing Chintan, and it's the 4 types of meditations are Shukla Dhyan, Dharma Dhyan, Raudra Dhyan, and Artha Dhyan. So 2 of those kinds of meditations or thinking are, so like for Artha Dhyan, that's kind of sort of dejected people who are in a kind of negative kind of thinking. So that's that. Then you've got the other, so that's Artha Dhyan, Raudra Dhyan. Raudra Dhyan is Dhyan which is evilish. You really are thinking something really bad to happen. Anubhav kharab thai. So you a lot of thought processes going. So like terrorist mentality that you really want to do a lot of harm and bad. So that's even worse than Artha Dhyan. Then there's Dharma Dhyan, which is kind of pious thinking. And then Shukla Dhyan is the purest form of thinking. So you almost like, for example, they've got universal compassion. Universal compassion. We might have compassion towards our family, towards our children, but then we sometimes are more kind of segregated. but someone who has got universal compassion, every life form. So then you're going towards the Shukla Dhyan, the purest form of meditation. And it's only through Shukla Dhyan can you then get towards Keval Gnan. When that thinking process occurs, that's the time when you are now getting towards the Keval Gnan. Otherwise, you cannot get towards Keval Gnan. So these are all the different properties of Chandraprabhu Bhagwan, whose body is as white as the moonlight rays, created by the purest form of meditation, Shukla Dhyan, and then endow you with spiritual wealth. And Shriya, as I mentioned last time, is repeating in many of these verses here. And Shriya means wealth, but in each of these verses, the wealth is associated with spiritual wealth. That we all want blessings for spiritual wealth, not mundane wealth. I want a lot of physical wealth or gold or property or money. But this is a kind of a spiritual prayer, and we are all asking for spiritual wealth. Any questions before I move on? If there's any questions, please. Okay, I'll just carry on. So the next verse is Kara Malaka Vadvishwam Kalyana Kevala Shriya Achintya Mahatma Nidhi Suvidhir Bodhayas Tuvaha. So the first word is Kar, hand. Application Tuva Kar. So Kar means hand. Amalak, Amla. Indian gooseberry. So that's known as Amla. Then the other word we are actually looking is Keval, Keval Gnan. So Keval Gnan is infinite knowledge. And I mentioned there are 5 kinds of knowledge we can have. Mati Gnan, Shuddha Gnan, Abdhi Gnan, Manhapara Gnan, and Keval Gnan. And very briefly, Mati Gnan is the knowledge of the mind and the senses. Shuddha Gnan is knowledge of the scriptures and also symbolic knowledge. Then Abdhi Gnan is knowledge of things which are beyond our vicinity here. So you are able to see things which are in a much further distance, and you're able to see them very clearly. So that's Abdhi Gnan. Manhapara Gnan is knowledge of the mind, that you could able to read what's going on in someone else's mind. And then Keval Gnan is ultimate knowledge. And very briefly, Keval Gnan means infinite knowledge, which means knowledge of all the past, present, and the future, and of all modes. So every single modes of Jeev and Ajeev. Because we know that in the entire universe, there are only 2 substances. Jeev means consciousness or life as we know it. And that life is not only just human life, but Ekindriya, Beindriya, Teindriya, all kinds of life. So those are Jeev, and Ajeev is something which is non-living. So between these 2 categories, you can have different modes. And what do I mean by modes? So for example, if you look at water, you can have water, then you can have gas, or you can have ice. These are different modes of the same substance. So substance is water, but the modes are different. Or for example, let's look at gold. Gold is gold, but you can have a ring, you can have a necklace, you can have a earring. So these are the different modes. So in Jainism, the technical term is Sat or Tattva. Tattva is the substance, and then you have what different modes of this. So Keval Gnan means that you are able to have the knowledge of the entire, all the Jeev and Ajeev, and you are able to see the past, present, and the future. So that's infinite knowledge. Now, that's quite difficult to comprehend. And look at what this Achintya. Apne chintan kariye chiye. So Chintan means to think. And Achintya means inconceivable. So this is also very common in kind of the Gujarati, Hindi, or Sanskrit languages. Generally signifies the opposite. So Hinsa means violence, and Ahimsa means non-violence. Parigraha means possessions, and Aparigraha means non-possessions. So Achintya, cannot, unthinkable, inconceivable. So that's Achintya. So let's look at what this verse means. May you be endowed with right vision by Suvidinath Bhagwan, who with his wealth of omniscience can perceive the entire world just as the Indian gooseberries. Now this is very beautiful. This is actually giving the example of what is Keval Gnan. Like it's giving some kind of analogy. So Keval Gnan means that you are able to see everything, the past, the present, and the future as clearly as you got an Indian like gooseberry amla on your hand. So if you had got any fruit on your hand, you're able to see exactly what is the shape, what is the color, what is the texture. So just as you're able to see a fruit which is in your hand, or like in this case here, amla, this is giving an example that Suvinath Bhagwan or who has got Keval Gnan, they can see everything as crystal clearly as something which is in your hand. So this is giving it a comparison. Okay, this is what Keval Gnan means. It seems like everything of the past, infinite past, the present, and the future, and all that is as crystal clear as what you can see, which is in your hand right now, a fruit which is in your hand. So may you be endowed with the right vision by Suvinath Bhagwan, who with his wealth of omniscience can perceive the entire world, just as Indian gooseberries is in one hand, and whose glory is incomprehensible. Keno je mahima je che Bhagwan no mahima, it's achintya. You cannot think the ketlo Bhagwan no che. And what I also then did mention to you in my first lecture, that some of these qualities we are talking about, Keval Gnan, the glory is incomprehensible, although it's presented for Suvinath Bhagwan, the qualities here are applicable to all the 24 Tirthankars. So, this is as much applicable to Suvinath Bhagwan as it is to Adeshwar Bhagwan, Ajitnath Bhagwan, Sambhavnath Bhagwan. So it's for everyone. So these qualities. Because there's no difference in the Tirthankar. They are different Tirthankars, but the qualities which they have are the same. Okay, so the next verse, Sattvanam Paramananda Kandoda Bhedana Vambudha Syadvada Mrita Nishyandi Shitala Patuvo Jinha. Now, again, here, I did mention my first lecture, but here, the northern Indians or people who learn Sanskrit, they call it Mrit. And Apne Gujarati ma, this has become Mrut. So many people would say Syadvada Mruta Nishyandi. So again, it's a question of just what you get used to and a kind of a dialect difference. So the first word is sattva, sattva. So sattva means living or sentient beings. And the plural case, in genitive case, is sattvanam. So that becomes sattvanam. Paramanand. So again, you can see a combination of two words. Param means ultimate and anand means bliss. And this is again referring to spiritual bliss leading to liberation. Kanda, bulbous or tuberous root. Again, this is very common. Say kanda khaye, onion. So that's called kanda. So again, you can see where the word comes from. So anything which is bulbous or tuberous root. And as you will see, that this word is actually referring to foundation or source. Udbhed, breaking through or coming out, becoming visible. There's another word which is coming up in these words here, which is called Syadvad. Now, Syadvad is a doctrine in Jainism, just as Anekantvad is. So, Anekantvad is a doctrine of multiplicity of viewpoints. And so, which means that, and a very common example given in the scriptures is, for example, one elephant, and there are 6 blind men who are touching different parts of the elephant. Someone says, oh, the elephant is like a pipe when they touch the trunk. Someone who touches the ears saying, oh, the elephant is like what you clean when dustpan. So that's how an elephant looks like. So different people are, and some people saying the elephant is like a pillar if you hold the legs of the elephant. So these are all 6 blind men. So each one of them is right from their own perspective, but it's not the ultimate truth. So ultimately, because they're blind, they can only give the truth from a certain perspective. So that's kind of the Anekantvad perspective. Now, Syadvad is a similar doctrine within Jainism, and it's mainly a doctrine of relativity. That when you want to discuss certain aspects, you can say something is or something is not. So, for example, I'm existing in my current state right now, but when I'm going to be after my death, and when I'm being born into my next life, so that is already decided. It's going to happen in the future, but it's not there existing right now. So from a perspective right now, from the present moment, I'm existing from this perspective. But from a future perspective, I'm not yet existing. My future birth, that's only going to happen in the future. So Syad Asti, which means from a particular perspective, something is. And in this way, there are different perspectives. And this becomes very, very useful when people are discussing the Jain doctrine, or even when you have a lot of discussions with other doctrines of Buddhism or from Hinduism, and people want to understand what is the concept of reality. So all these kind of arguments or viewpoints become very, very, very pertinent, that without denying someone else's truth, you can then still maintain your own truth. So that's called Syadvad. So let's see what this verse means. May Shitalnath Bhagwan protect you. So, Patu means protect you, and who bestows ultimate bliss to living beings, just as the first rain clouds cause the bulbous roots to sprout. So this is now actually giving you the example. Like, I don't know how many people, how many of you have actually been to, say, for example, in India during the monsoon season. When the first rains come, people actually are dancing with joy. The farmers are dancing with joy, and people are literally going out in the open. It's pouring, huge a downpour, and people are yet dancing. It's the joy which is coming out. So the ultimate bliss, and this bliss, and they're kind of describe how is this bliss? It's almost like the first rain clouds cause the bulbous roots to sprout. The farmer has actually sowed the seeds in the farm, and when the rains come, then when the seedling or the sapling literally just sprouts out of the ground, and the joy which someone gets, oh yes, now you're going to be getting a harvest after the rains have come. And it's exactly the opposite. So for example, if there's a drought, someone has the farmer has put all the seeds in, varsat padto જ નથી, then can you imagine how much sadness there is? There's just no rain, nothing is just growing. So it's that kind of bliss, just as the seedlings are sprouting out. So that's kind of giving a description of what kind of, comparing, giving an analogy of what the bliss is like. And so, may Shitalnath Bhagwan protect you, bestow you with the ultimate bliss to living beings, just as the first rain clouds cause the bulbous roots to sprout, and the flow of divine nectar of the doctrine of Syadvad. So Bhagwan has given this philosophy to us, which is great. It's a divine nectar, which is Deshnai they give this doctrine. So we are so blessed to have this Anekantvad and Syadvad doctrine with us. Again, let me just pause for a short moment. If there's any questions, please. Okay, I'll just carry on. Bhava rogartha jantu nam magdankara darshana niya shreyasa shriramana shreyasa shreyasestu vaha. So bhava we know kya hamara bhav chakra chale che. So all the cycles of transmigration, birth and death. So that's the bhav. Rog as it's very common, disease, affliction. Jantu, living beings, and the plural is jantunam, because as we can see here, bhava rogartha jantunam. So jantunam is a plural of jantu. Now, yes, sorry. Sorry, was there a question?
I think there was just feedback.
Okay.
From your loop.
Yeah. Okay. So bhava rogartha jantu. So jantu is living beings. Now Shri is prosperity, wealth, or fortune. This is again very interesting. If you remember the olden days when we used to write letters to our parents or grandparents, later out of the blue color na, we used to always write Shri Chandu Bhai, Shri Magan Bhai, Shri Kanti Bhai, and for ladies it used to be Srimati. So it's just amazing. So it kind of means prosperity, wealth, or fortune. So it was an honorific title. But Shri also means like prosperity, wealth, or fortune. So what a great way of respecting others. You're almost like saying, maybe endowed with prosperity. So that word Shri. But Shri also means prosperity, wealth, or fortune. Now Raman means lover or husband. Now let's look at the description here of this verse. May Shreyasnath Bhagwan bless you with the wealth of liberation. So may we be blessed by Shreyasnath Bhagwan with the wealth of liberation. Sitchila, whose sight is like a physician to those afflicted with the disease of worldly transmigration, and those who endows wealth of liberation. Now, it's very interesting here. When we have our physical body, we have our diseases. People get cancer, people get heart diseases. But now we are talking about the disease, the spiritual disease here. Bhava rogartha. So this is a disease of the spiritual disease, which is what we are having a constant cycle of birth and death. And our ultimate objective is to end this cycle, this disease of constant birth and death. And when can that be achieved? When we all attain the final liberation, Siddha Shilama. So when we attain moksha. So that's what we are aiming for. Now, another interesting thing here is there's one here which says Raman, lover or husband. And if you look at the translation here, there's nothing here which says about a lover or a husband. So that kind of seems a bit surprising, that what is the link here? Now, this is again very, very kind of, you could see the insight of the poet. Shri, in Sanskrit, there are different genders of the words, masculine, neuter, or feminine. So in Shri, in Sanskrit, is got a feminine gender. Raman is kind of the lover or husband. So as you can see that if you have the ultimate, so if there is a female and a male, then there's utmost love between both of them. So what this is trying to signify here, Lakshmi is a female connotation, and moksha is the kind of the male connotation. So obviously Lakshmi loves moksha. So what is ultimate? What does Lakshmi, ultimate Lakshmi is? What is ultimate source of wealth for or even all of us? It is the wealth of liberation. So that's why it says, may Shreyasnath Bhagwan bless you with the wealth of liberation. And then it says, whose sight is like a physician to those afflicted with the disease of worldly transmigration, migration, and who endows with the wealth of liberation. So this is what the Shri Lakshmi and moksha comes here. Shri Raman, this is the translation of Shri Raman, wealth of liberation. So although Raman is not like husband here, but it's like saying moksha. And it's kind of the link between, like, you have a feminine gender, and that feminine gender is associated with the masculine gender. Wealth hoy, to wealth ne su, what will wealth like? What is the best wealth I want? It's a wealth of liberation. So very indirect way of using the word Raman. Otherwise, you would start wondering, okay, how come there is no, you would say Shri means wealth of husband, lover. And obviously then that doesn't make sense. Why would you saying that may God bless me so that I can have a wealth of a good lover or good husband? So that obviously doesn't make sense. So Vishwapkar ki bhuta, again, as you can see here, this bhu is long. If it was turned the other way around like this, if it was like this, then that's a short u. So then if it was the other way, it would be bhut. This is Vishwapkar ki bhuta. So double O, bhuta. And again, this is a long E, tirthankar, tir. Otherwise, if it's the other way around, it's tirthankar. Tirthankara, krita karma nirmiti, sura asura nare, puja vasu puja punantu vaha. Vishwa means the entire world. Upkarak. आप कहते हैं तुमने उपकार करो. So doing service or favor, helping, assisting. So again, so many of the words, when you read the words, you might not understand the meaning. But then certain words, you can say, oh yeah, this is quite common. After Gujarati, we use these kind of words here. So Vishwa, Upkara ki bhuta. Then karma. Karma is particles of matter that envelop the soul, producing different effects on the soul. Now, this is very, very unique. The philosophy of karma is there in the Buddhist philosophy, it's there within the Hindu philosophy, and it's there within the Jain philosophy. So obviously it is not in the Western religions. But Jains are the only kind of, out of these three kind of main religions, Jains are the only ones which believes that karma is actually particles of matter. Just as you have got, Pudgal. So Pudgal is matter. Karma is again particles of matter. Now, what Jains believe, and again, this is a very, we don't have time to discuss this in great detail, but what Jains believe, that when you look at matter can have 8 properties, or ashtasparshi or chatursparshi. So certain particles of matter. So for example, this is made out of particles of matter, cotton particles. And those kind of particles have got different properties, mass, they've got weight, they've got touch, taste, different kinds of properties. Out of which, those which have got 8 different properties, one of the main properties is mass, having weight. Even particles of matter, even if it's very small, like electron or neutron, even then they will have a certain mass. They'll be, even if it's very tiny. Now, Jains believe that those are kind of ashtasparshi, 8 different properties of matter. But karma and the other particles of matter will call chatursparshi. So chaturs means they've only got 4 properties, out of which they do not have the property of matter, of weight. So they are matter, but they do not have the mass. So from my perspective, no scientist will ever be able to discover particles of karma, because karma is something which does not have mass and it cannot be detected. All the modern instruments of science can only detect particles which have got mass. So karma are again particles of matter, therefore we cannot see them, they're invisible, and they which attaches to the soul. And Jains believe there are 8 different kinds of karma, Gati and Agati karma. So again, that's it's a very vast topic, the Jain karma philosophy. So karma is particles of matter. Now this 3 combination, Sur, Asur, and Nar, comes quite frequently. Sura means heavenly beings or gods. Asur means demons or evil spirits, hellish beings, and Nara means humans. And this again comes in the context of Apne Bhagwan ne ke, the Lord is Tri Jagatna Nath. You are the Lord of the 3 worlds. The upper world, the world of the heavenly beings, the middle world, the world of the humans, and the bottom world, which is the hellish regions. So Sur, Asur, and Nar, this kind of combination comes quite frequently in these verses here. So let's look at what this verse means. May you be purified, punha, purify or cleanse. And again, if I'm not sure if I mentioned last time, in Sanskrit, what happens is, in English, we can say, I eat a mango. But in Sanskrit, you can actually change the order of the words. So mango, eat I. So you could say that, and it's true, and you would then be able to say, okay, what is a verb, what is a noun, which word is associated. So this word here, although it's at the end of the word, but it's associated with this word over here. So you could change the order of the word and yet still have the understanding of what the whole verse means. So that's also very common. So it doesn't mean that this word is associated with word next to it. So the order can change in Sanskrit. So may you be purified by Vasupuja Swami, who has bound Tirthankar body making karma. So that's one property. Second one is a great benefactor to the entire world and worshipped by the celestial beings, evil spirits, and humans. So these are kind of the 3 properties given for Vasupuja Swami. Now, as you know, there could be many Kevalis, but there are only 24 Tirthankars in each time cycle. So therefore, that these 24 Tirthankars, due to their great meritorious deeds in their past lives, they bound the Tirthankar body nam making karma. So that's the reason why they became Tirthankars. So like Gautam Swami, he was a disciple of Lord Mahavir. So he did become a Kevali. He is now in Sitchila, but he was not a Tirthankar. The Tirthankar was Lord Mahavir Bhagwan. So for example, Jains believe Krishna Maharaj, who the Hindus believe in, is going to become a future Tirthankar. So right now in the next 24 Tirthankar, Krishna Maharaj is now going to become a Tirthankar. So because he had bound the Tirthankar making nam body karma, so that's why he's going to become a Tirthankar. So, and this is through great meritorious deeds which these great souls have done. So that's is a great benefactor to the entire world. Akha dunya mate is a benefactor. Ke ajo apar Bhagwan Mahavir no apane jo bhani na medi hot, then what knowledge would you have? And therefore it's a great benefactor. And incidentally, when we look at the Jain time cycle, we believe there's 6 downwards and 6 upwards, 6 aras or 6 periods of time cycle. In the first and the second, there is just happiness. And in that happiness, there is absolutely no religion which can be practiced. So that no one can practice any religion because there's just happiness, happiness, and happiness. So the first arama and second arama, there is nothing like a concept of religion, because everything is just all the wishes are fulfilled by kalpavriksha and other things. So religion, the concept of religion only starts in the third time cycle, fourth and the fifth, and in the sixth it's just almost it goes away, because there's so much unhappiness and so much destruction around that it's sort of all just on the way of sort of just being totally extinct. So essentially we are so fortunate that Bhagwan Hata and our choice Tirthankar, and each of the Tirthankars in their particular time period gave the dashna, and therefore the population were so fortunate to receive this direction and this mark, the path, the path of purification. And then it's worshipped by celestial beings, evil spirits, and humans. So again, in other ways, Three Loknanath, you are worshipped by all the three regions. Vimala Swamino Vachaha Katak Shoda Sodara Jayanti Trijagacheto Jala Nirmali Hetvaha. So this is the 13th Tirthankar Vimalath Bhagwan. Katak. So this is quite interesting. Katak is a clearing nut plant, and the seeds of which are used to purify water. So this is quite interesting. In the olden days, right now, up to the point when we want water, it goes to a filtration plant. But when I came across this verse, I was quite amazed to learn myself that in the olden days, that if you went to the river and you got some water, how do you purify this water? They would then take this particular clearing nut plant, they would take that, and it almost becomes like an alum. Okay, it's through because of this, it actually is the seeds of which are used to purify the water. All the particles or the impure particles, they'll settle down. So once when they all they settle down, then you can just pour out and you can get the clear water. So that is a property of this plant here, Katak. The other word is Chet. So someone is called Chetan or Chetna. So Chetna means consciousness. Nirmalya. So mal means dirt. And this is the opposite, Nirmalya, free from dirt. And Hetu is quite important. It also Hetu means cause, reason, or motive. So let's see what this verse means. Just as the powder of the cleaning nut plant purifies water, may Lord Vimalnath's speech, which is victorious, to attain liberation, purify the consciousness of all the living beings of the three worlds. So what a beautiful way of how the poet Acharya Hemchandra has weaved that he's given the example of what the cleaning nut plant does. It purifies water. So giving an analogy, well, may Lord Vimalnath Bhagwan's speech, vacha ke che vachna, ekle deshna in his speech. Apne vachan. So vacha, the speech. So may Lord Vimalnath's speech, which is victorious, because any speech, what does the speech do? The speech, if we really take it to heart, it will then help us to attain liberation. So it is victorious. Okay, Bhagwani tame deshna sambro, and you follow the followings of the Tirthankars, then it's going to help you to attain liberation. Then may it purify the consciousness of all the living beings. So apna consciousness ma, there is a lot of rag, dvesh, krodh, man, maya, lobh. So we need to get rid of all this pap apna maje che. So may the consciousness of our souls be purified, and of all the living beings of all the three worlds. So that's beautiful way of saying, and it's kind of amazing to see Devlokma Panche, they've got all the happiness there, but at one point the Ayushya is going to get over, and then again they have to be reborn somewhere else. Same way with in the hellish regions, intense pain and suffering, but at one point the suffering will end. So you want to purify the consciousness of all the living beings of all the three worlds. So let's look at this one here. Swayambhu Ramana Spardhi Karunarasa Varina Ananta Jidananta Baha Prayachattu Shukashriyam. Now this is again wonderful. Swayambhu Raman. Now this word is actually referring to the Jain cosmology. And what Jains believe is that in the middle world, we are in the middle world right now, there is Mount Meru at the center, Mount Meru. So it's a huge mountain. And around the Mount Meru, there are concentric circles of islands and sea or water. So for example, you've got Jambudvip. So Jambudvip, and then around the Jambudvip, which is the island of Jambudvip. So Bharat Kshetra, which we are living in right now, is within the Jambudvip. Then you've got Lavana Samudra. So that's kind of the ocean circling there. Then there's Dhatiki Khand. So that's another island. So Jains believe that there are this kind of islands and oceans surrounding them, and this keeps on increasing and increasing. And what happens is that if suppose that the length of this is, say, 1 mile, then the next island will be double, and then it's double, and then it's double. So it just keeps on increasing. The size of the islands and the seas keep on increasing and increasing. Now, what's important to understand that if you look at the Jain universe, the middle part, this series of islands and oceans is what they call is innumerable. It's not anant, it's not infinite, but it's uncountable. And the example is, for example, when you go for a haircut, can you see how many hairs can you count them? It's not infinite, but it's uncountable. And so, okay, you can say, okay, maybe I've counted this much, but then what again, you just chop them into half and chop them into half and chop them into half until it becomes very fine. It will almost become like innumerable. You just cannot count how many there are. So that's the concept that, so Swayambhu Raman is actually the last one in this series. So this is the last and the largest ocean in the middle world. So out of all this series, Swayambhu Raman is the last one. So, and now let's look at why this is important, because now we are talking about Anantnath Bhagwan, and Anant also means infinite. So Anant means, it refers to the 14th Tirthankar, Anant Jineshwar, and Ananta means infinite, limitless, endless, inexhaustible. So that's Anant. So may Lord Anantnath bestow upon you the wealth of happiness, liberation. Again, Shriya, you can see that that's a wealth, and the wealth of liberation. And whose compassion competes to that of the limitless water in the Swayambhu Raman ocean. કે ભગવાનનું compassion કેવી રીતના છે? કરુણા રસ. So the rus is compassionate sentiments. કે ભગવાનની કરુણા કેટલી છે? કે oh, he's so compassionate. But how compassionate? Whose compassion competes. So you can say spardhi, rivals or competing to that of the limitless water in the Swayambhu Raman ocean. કે ઈ ઓશનમાં કેટલું પાણી હશે? It's almost incomparable. You cannot just compare ketlu pani ema ase. We can say, oh, Indian Ocean maklu pani che. And then you can say, okay, let's take twice the size of that. And then the other ocean, which is twice the size of that. And keep on increasing to almost to the point that you can't even count how many there are. So you can't even imagine how much it is. So it's giving you the kind of example, ke Bhagwan's compassion is incomprehensible. You just cannot compete with it. Eklu Bhagwan's compassion che. So, and again, they've used this Swayambhu Raman, which is a Jain cosmology. What's this Swayambhu Raman? It's the name of the last ocean. Any question?
I don't have any questions.
Okay, that's all. I'll carry on. We'll leave some towards the end.
Yeah.
Kalpa Drumasa Dharman Mr. Prapto Sharirinam Chaturda Dharma Deshtaram Dharmanatmu Pasmahe. So Kalpa Drum, which is a wish-fulfilling tree. Kappapaya Vabhriya Pavantya Vigganam Uvasagram Maveche Kappapaya. So Kalpa Vraksh. Now, very briefly, Kalpa Vraksh means wish-fulfilling trees. And I mentioned that in the first and the second time periods of the Jain time cycle, most needs of all the people who were living there were fulfilled by wish-fulfilling trees. I mean, neither you or I know exactly what they are, but you can just use your imagination. I want a house, I want to eat, I want to do something. You would go under a tree, you wish for it, and whatever you wish for, you get them. Maybe that's some kind of imagination. That's how it probably was at that time. Sadharma, same true or same nature or quality. Ishta. So again, very similar to Ichha. Ichhami dukadam. Ichhami. Ishta means desired, wished. I long for. Prapta. Prapti thai. Again, a Gujarati word. Attain, acquire, or gain. Sharirin. Sharir means apne paase sharir che. So sharirin is another way of humans, embodied souls. So it's very important. Those who are in the Shitshila, they are liberated souls. They do not have a body. They're just Atma, pure Atma in the Shitshila. But we and all animals and plants are all embodied souls. So Sharirin refers to humans.
Rajeev, sorry, Visual's got a question.
Yep.
Visual?
Pranam, Jai Jinendra, Rajeev. Sorry, can you please just touch back on what you said about Kapapaya Vapahiye in reference to Vasagaram, what it means, that sentence?
Yeah. So Kapapaya means Kalpa Vriksha. It's almost like saying Bhagwan apne Vasagram pasam andami kamma gana mukkam visara visarinasa mangala kalyanasa visara fullingamantam kanthe dhari jo semano tassaga rogamari tutta jarajantivasam chittho duremanto tuja pranami bowfloy narati is pavanti na dukadukjam tuva samatale chintamani Kapapaya Vabhaye. So તમને જો વંદન કરવાથી જે કપ્પપાયક, સો કપ્પપાય મીન્સ કે કલ્પ વૃક્ષ પ્રમાણે પણ તમને જે મળે છે એના કરતા પણ તમે વધારે આપો છો. કપ્પપાય વભ્ભયે પાવંતિ વિજ્ઞાનમ. You are getting even much more, or Bhagwan gives much more than what you can get from kalpa vraksh. Kppaya vabhe pavanti avijnanam. So that's what it means, that you're getting even much more. So the point I was trying to use that is that Kappapaya is again used in that Vasagram, which means Kalpa Vraksh. Kalpa Vraksh means wish fulfilling dreams.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Dharma. This is very interesting here. Most people think of Dharma as religion. But again, Dharma means true nature of reality. So what it means is, so for example, you have water. Water is a universal solvent. It is cooling. It has got a certain boiling point. It has got a certain, properties, but it's kind of a universal solvent. So when you heat water up, it starts boiling. But once when you remove the heat, it settles down to its all original true nature. So dharma, so the nature, so you can say the dharma of water is what? So dharma again means the true nature of reality. So what's the true nature of my soul, for example? If I got angry, then that's not true nature of my soul. It's almost like the water being boiling point. I'm now, but then if you calm down and if you become peaceful, that's the true nature of the soul. So every substance has got its own true nature. So that's called dharma. So that's another word of dharma. And there's also another meaning of dharma, which we'll not cover because we don't have time, is dharmastikaya. So dharmastikaya is an auxiliary cause of motion, or cause of motion, dharmastikaya, and adharmas. So these are all, what are the different substances in the universe? So there are akash, there is kal, there is jiv, there is pudgal, dharmastikaya, adharmastikaya. So that's again the word dharma comes there. So essentially you can think there are three different meanings of dharma. So let's look at this verse here. We worship Dharmanath Bhagwan, who is like a wish-fulfilling tree to the desires of humans, and who gives a discourse of the fourfold divisions of religion to attain liberation. Chaturdha. So Chaturdha in 4 ways. So Bhagwan apane religion no ape. So this is again summarizing that what is the 4 main divisions of religion. Dan, so charity. Shil means virtue. Tap means austerity or penance. And Bhav means state of mind. So this is very broadly the 4 categories of religion, and obviously, so that's Bhagwan Deshnapeche, and this is so this is now kind of actually giving the example of Bhagwan ke wish fulfilling tree kata pan apne, because if you had a wish fulfilling tree, you would say, oh, I want this, I want that, and it will be mainly physical or material things. But now Dharmanath Bhagwan is like who gives a wish fulfilling tree to the desires of spirit, to the desires which are spiritual desires now. And that spiritual desires means ke mane moksha ma jawu chhe. Again, it's very important to realize there's a difference between moksha and swarg. When people say kapre ke have swarg ma gaya, if someone dies ke swarg ma gaya, swarg means we hope that someone has gone to the heavenly regions, devlok ma gaya. That's swarg. But our ultimate aim is not swarg, it's actually moksha. Moksha is siddhashila. So now we are coming Sudha Sodurvya Jyotsna Nirmali Kritamukha Mrigalakshma Tamaha Shante Shantinata Kinostuvaha. So let's look at some of the words which I've highlighted here. Din. So din means refers to which is direction. આપણે disha. Okay, disha che uttar, pakshin. So disha. So that's the word din. So din refers to direction. Tamas means darkness, and shant, appease, calm, cure. And then again, the word here is shantye. So shantye is a dative case. So you see the ending makes it, so which means for or to. So that's how the word is, to calm or to appease. So that's kind of the ending. So this is in relation to Shantinath Bhagwan. May Lord Shantinath Bhagwan, whose emblem is a deer. Every Tirthankar has got a certain symbol. So so Shantinath Bhagwan, it's a deer. So the word here is mrig. Mrig is deer. May Lord Shantinath Bhagwan, whose emblem is a deer, put an end to your ignorance. Very important here. There is nothing like tamas is darkness, which implies ignorance. So this is again very common in the religious scriptures. Light or is associated with knowledge, and darkness is implies ignorance. So may Lord Shantinath Bhagwan put an end to your ignorance and spread divine knowledge in all directions. બધા directions Bhagwani knowledge may it spread with his nectar-like speech, which is as pure as a moonlight. So again, as you can see here, that sometimes sun has got its own importance and the moonlight has also got its own importance. So in Bhaktama Stotra, in many of the sutras, sometimes a comparison is done to the sun, but sometimes it's also done to in terms of the moon. And moonlight is generally associated with purity. So when you have the full moon, punam jare hoy punam, so then the moonlight is associated with kind of the purity, that there is not a single, ek pan dago nathi, there is not any, it's absolutely as pure. So that's kind of the linkage between the moonlight. Okay, so one thing before I do here, as you can see in these words here, there is sometimes which comes up here, which is this funny S-looking symbol here. So you might wonder, what is this S-looking symbol? And this comes up in quite often when you read Hindi or Sanskrit, you will see this come up. Now, again, we don't have time to go through this too much detail. It's already 9 o'clock. But what it means is when you are having this visarg here, which is these 2 dots, and then you want to then join with another word which begins with, say, for example, is a vowel A, there are certain rules which say, okay, what you need to do is first you drop this visarg, you replace it with the vowel O, and then again, because you also have to remove this A sound here, then you remove this A sound and that becomes a avagra. So that becomes silent. So let me give an example in English. So when you say it is, so there are 2 words, it is, and then you can shorten it to say it's, it apostrophe s. So this is almost very similar to that kind of apostrophe, that it's silent, you have removed 1 word, and it becomes like jinos. So if you look at this, Shantinath jinos tu vaha. So it's kind of a pause, a kind of a jinos tu vaha, because there's another word here, which has been dropped. So that's kind of sound of air. And this is called avagraha. That S symbol is actually called an avagraha. Shri Kuntanatho Bhagwan, Sanatho, again you can see this symbol coming here. Sanatho, Tishayar, Dhibi, Sura Nrina Thana Mikanathas Shriye. Again, we can see Shri coming up here, prosperity. Sur, Asur, and Nri. We saw that in a previous verse. Sur, Asur, and Nri. Nara. So Nara, again, this has been shortened to Nri. So heavenly gods, demons, and humans. Nara or Nri. So let's see what this verse means. May you be blessed with spiritual wealth. Again, Shri. So sorry, that's this Shri, wealth, spiritual. May you be blessed with spiritual wealth by Lord Kuntanath Bhagwan, who is endowed with a wealth of supernatural powers. Atishaya. Atishaya means supernatural attributes, and is the unparalleled Lord of the heavenly beings, evil spirits, and human beings. So that's again, as we have seen, Kitran Loknanath Nijam, unparalleled Lord of the heavenly beings. Direct Bhagwan, they've got certain supernatural powers. the body have got certain supernatural powers. The speech has got certain supernatural powers. They've Bhaktamar Mahaveche, they've got the kind of a divine hello. They've got sort of kind of Dev Devis, they create a certain throne. Some Saran Banaveche. So this whole way they have Tirthankar are born, they have quite a few supernatural powers, and they are generally considered to be 34 Atishayis. So you can read that in the internet. So Bhagwan પાસે જે દરેક તીર્થંકરો હોય છે, they've got these atishayas, supernatural powers, and may we be blessed by Lord Kuntanath Bhagwan. Arnathastu Bhagwan Chatur Tharano Nabhor Ravi Chaturtha Purushartha Shri Vilasa Vitono Tuvaha. So let's look at here Chaturtha. So this is again, if you look at this word here, Chaturtha Purushartha Shri Vilasa. So it's Arnathastu Bhagwan Chatur. So there's one, the Chatur is coming twice. Chatur Nathar, and then again Chaturth Purushartha Shri. So the first Chaturth means fourth, and this is a reference to the Ara. So you can see here Chaturtha Ar. So it's like the fourth period of the time cycle. Ara, first Ara, second Ara, third Ara. Ara means time cycle, period. So it refers to the fourth time cycle, segment of the time cycle. And then the next Chaturth is now coming up with the 4 aims of life. So generally when we say, what is the purpose of life? So for most people who have not become a saint or a monk or sadhu, then generally it's commonly said that there are 4 general aims of life: dharma, kam, arth, and moksha. Earth essentially means we have to work for a living. Kam means sensual pleasures. So people procreate, and so for example, this is where the word Kama Sutra comes from. Kama Sutra. So when people want to procreate, so there's a whole text written on that. So artha is we all have to work for a living, jobs, profession, studying, education. This is kind of pleasures, procreation. And then interweave between all this, we need dharma. If you look at our lives, we fit into all of this. We have got a profession, we've got our family, we like certain pleasures of life. Dharma, we also need dharma. So that's the reason why many of us, like for example this talk we're having. So dharma, we need to spend time in spirituality, in religion, and then eventually what you're all aiming for is the moksha, the fourth part of this entire purpose of life. So the four aims of life. So let's see what this verse means. May you be blessed with the wealth of liberation, the 4th Purushartha, which is moksha. So can you see Chaturtha Purushartha Shri? So may you be blessed out of these 4 segments. May you be blessed with this one here, moksha. Not with dharma, not with kam, not with earth, but with moksha. So may you be blessed with the wealth of liberation, the 4th Purushartha, by Arnatha Bhagwan, who was like a sun in the sky during the 4th period of the time cycle. Now, Tirthankars are born, appear on earth towards the end of the third time cycle. So that's when Adeshwar Bhagwan was born, towards the end of the 3rd cycle. And then all the remaining ones are in the 4th time period. So that's it. So Bhagwan Mahavir, 2,500 years ago, that was the end of the 4th time cycle. And that's why we just started the 5th time cycle. So Arnatha Bhagwan was existing in the 4th time period of the time cycle. So as you can see, that this poetic verses, not only are they describing the qualities of the Tirthankar, but they're also explaining some of the Jain cosmology. They're explaining certain aspects of the Jain religion. So if you go into this, there are different aspects you're picking up in each verse. Sura naradhisha mayura navavaridam karma drunna mullane hasti malam mali mabishtumaha. Again, as you can see, Sura naradhisha, Sur, Asur, Nara. Mayur means peacock, Varid means rain cloud, Varsad, as you can see, and Hasti means elephant. And here elephant refers to Airavat. And this is supposed to be like in the heavens, Indra Maharaj hoy, then their vehicle of transportation is supposed to be Airavat, a mighty, one of the best elephants you can ever have. So that refers to Airavat. So let's look at what this verse means. We eulogize Malinath Bhagwan, who is the Lord of the heavenly beings, evil spirits and humans, and who rejoices akin to the peacocks who dance with joy when fresh rain clouds appear, and who is like divine, mighty elephant to uproot the tree of karma. So what he's saying, Malinath Bhagwan keva che? He helps us to uproot the tree of karma, the tree of karma. કે આ જે tree જે છે એના roots are so deep. So આપણા જે કર્મ છે, karma is like a tree, and the roots of our karma, we have been binding karma since infinite times in the past, and the karma's bondage of our karmas is so deep rooted that you need a mighty elephant to uproot these karmas. કે મલ્લીનાથ ભગવાનની કે આપણા તીર્થંકર ભગવાનની આપણે જે દેશના we listen to this religion, we need this religion to get rid of all these intense karmas which you and I all are sort of we have bound. So this is an example. And then it's saying, okay, Bhagwan, when you get liberation, humans, they all rejoice like peacocks who dance with joy when fresh rain clouds appear. So this is kind of giving the example of what joy we get, that, you know, when we are blessed with Mallinath Bhagwan, and when we attain liberation, this is kind of the happiness which we will experience. Incidentally, this picture here is Mallinath Bhagwan, Bhoini. If you've been there, Bhoini Tirth, Gujarat Mache. So that's, and incidentally, the Swetambars believe that that's only female Tirthankars. Digambars don't believe that there's a female Tirthankar, but Swetambars believe that she was the only female Tirthankar. Jaganamaha mo nidra pratyusha samayopamam munisvrtanathasya deshnavachanam stumaha. Jagat means universe, Maha Moha. Maha means great, and Moha means Mohinya karma. So that's one of the 8 karmas. And you know, in the karma philosophy, there are 2 kinds of karmas: Ghati karmas and Aghati karmas. Ghati karmas are very, very strong and intense. And out of all the karmas, which is the king of all the karmas? Mohinya karma. So this is the greatest karma which we need to get rid of, Mohinya karma. So this is even more intense than Gnanavarinya karma, Darshanavarinya karma, Vednya karma, any other karmas. So if you can get rid of Mohinya karma, all the other Mohinya karmas will then will just discard, will go away. Nidra means sleep, and Deshna means sermon. So let's look at what this verse means. We eulogize Muniswarat Swami Bhagwan, whose discourse is like dawn in removing the deep slumber of the most burdensome Mohinya karmas of the living beings. Now again, remember, Muniswarat Swami Bhagwan, no, the color associated with Muniswarat Swami Bhagwan is black. So again, it's like saying deep slumber, intense darkness. So again, how the poet has used this deep slumber, the intense night, bhar andhari raat. So emat manso include deep sleep ma hoy. So every night, that's why they're using this. And then dawn comes, and then you remove the darkness. So we eulogize Muniswarat Swami, whose discourse, Bhagwan ji Deshna je che, is like dawn in removing the deep slumber of the most burdensome Mohinya karmas. So intense darkness, but when the sun rises, when the dawn comes, the darkness just goes away, disappears. So Bhagwan Muniswarat Swami Bhagwan's speech is like that. When we listen to that speech, this intense dark Mohinya karmas will start fading away. Again, as you can see, Nathasya. So Nathasya means genitive case. And in this case, so what does that mean? Genitive case means we eulogize Muniswarat Swami Bhagwan's discourse. So, you know, it's like apostrophe S. We can say whose discourse or Muniswarat Swami Bhagwan's discourse. So that's what genitive case means, belonging to Bhagwan's. Lutanto namatam murdhani nirmalikara karanam variplaivaname pantupadana khanshvaha. So kar means make do, vari means water, pad means foot, apne pug, and nak means nail. So let's look at what this verse means. May Naminath Bhagwan protect you when you bow down to his toenails, which emanate swirling radiance and purify like a stream of water. So Asuket Naminath Bhagwan protect you here. So apane Bhagwan protect kare. When you bow down to his toenails, which emanate swirling radiance and purify like a stream of water. Now, for example, we can say someone has got a great personality. Look at his face, glowing. What a radiance on his face. Look at his body. He's got a six-pack. What a great personality he's got. And here what we are saying, Naminath Bhagwan, no, let's look at just his toenails. The smallest part of the toenails. Bhagwan's toenails is emanating such radiance, not his face. Sav niche pug che, pugna niche na je toenails enu pan jaklu radiance. Forget his face, forget his body. So can you imagine that Bhagwan na toenails no jaklu radiance, to Bhagwan ke vaase? So it's kind of saying that when you bow down to his toenails, which is emanating swirling radiance, and which purifies like a stream of water. There's a flowing water, it just removes all the impurities along its way. So Bhagwan radiance so if you are just in Bhagwan tejti, it will purify us like a stream of water. Yadu vansa samundrendwa karma kaksha hutashana arishta nemir Bhagwan bhuyadvo rishtanashna. Yadu, so Yadu is Yadav, it's a lineage. I belong to which my ancestors, my father, my grandfather, his grandfather. So we belong to certain caste. Okay, we belong to this caste or that caste. So Yadu was a dynasty, the ancestors of the Yadavs. Samudra means ocean. Indu means moon. Arishta Nemi. This is another name of the 22nd Tirthankar Neminath Bhagwan. Arishta Nemi. And Nash means destroy. So let's look at what this verse means. Neminath Bhagwan is like a moon over the sea of Yaduvan's lineage. So, lineage chale che. So, evita Neminath Bhagwan used to belong to the Yadavs. And out of that entire clan of the Yadavs, Neminath Bhagwan was like a moon over the sea. So, imagine you went to the beach, Andharu che, you cannot see the sea. But then if you look at the full moon, you say, wow. Beautiful moon. So it's like saying Neminath Bhagwan is like a moon over the sea of the Yaduvan's lineage. Moreover, Neminath Bhagwan is like a fire to destroy the forest of karmas. But then Neminath Bhagwan is like a fire. I can hutashana, fire. So Neminath Bhagwan is like a fire to destroy the forest of karmas. Me Arishta Nemi. So Arishta Nemi is another name of Neminath Bhagwan. Destroy your inauspiciousness. And it's again very beautiful to see that Arishta, and because the other word, the inauspicious is also Arishta. So how the poet has used Arishta Nemir Bhagwan, Bhuyado Rishta Nashna. So Arishta is coming twice. And incidentally, this Murti here, I don't know if you can recognize, Naminath Bhagwani, this is in Thikka, Naminath Bhagwan. The Thikka Maje Dera Saje, any Murti che. Again, this is the Girnar Naminath Bhagwan. Kamte dharanendre cha sochitam karma kurvati prabustulyom no vritti parshvanatha shreyastuva. Kamat, it's about 9:15, so let's see how far we get to. But Kamat and Parshvanath Bhagwan, for many lifetimes, they used to have kind of, Kamat used to have enmity towards Parshvanath Bhagwan, and that went on for many life births. Dharanendra was, there were a pair of snakes, and Parshvanath Bhagwan saved them when Kamat was doing some kind of havan. And Bhagwan, Parshvanath went then saying, told Kamat that, don't do the havan because, they're actually a pair of snakes there and they're getting killed. And they were badly burned with this havan. And Parshvanath Bhagwan recited Naukar mantra, and then they went into Devlok. So Dharanendra is the male and Padmavati is the female, Dev and Devi. Cha means end. Swachit means suitable to oneself. Swa Uchit. Swa means self and Uchit means oneself. Swarup. Swabhav. Swa means self and Bhav means personality. So as you can see, Swa Uchit. Manovritti. Manovritti means mental disposition. May you be blessed with the spiritual wealth of Parshvanath Bhagwan, who acted according to his own righteousness with equanimity between the torments of Kamat and the devotion by Dharanendra. A beautiful verse in adoration of Parshvanath Bhagwan. In a nutshell, what it's saying, Kamat was giving intense pain and suffering to Parshvanath Bhagwan. And at that time, and he had a great downpour of water coming through, almost to the point of Bhagwan Parshvanath could have drowned. Dharanendra Padmavati came and they elevated Parshvanath Bhagwan. But Bhagwan Parshvanath Bhagwan is in intense, deep meditation. And in that particular state, he does not have any animosity towards Kamat, nor does he have any sense of grateful, obviously grateful, but he doesn't have any kind of affection towards Dharanendra and Padmavati. Oh, kekla sara chaloka, tumaru dhyan rakhe che. Bhagwan is absolutely equanimous. No hatred and no attraction, no sort of appreciation, but he doesn't have that kind of affinity towards them. Absolute equanimity. So this verse is really signifying that Parshvanath Bhagwan absolutely equanimous state. So now Mahavir Swami Bhagwan, Srimate Viranathaya Sanathaya Bhutashriya Mahananda Saroraj Maralayarate Namaha. Viranath means Lord Viranath. Nathaya means again two. Adbhut means wondrous. Maha Anand means great joy. My obeisance to Lord Mahavir, who is endowed with the astonishing 34 Atishais, supernatural powers, and has attained omniscience akin to a beautiful swan in a lake of utmost bliss. Beautiful lake che, a beautiful swan che. So that's like giving an example. That's what omniscience is like. Pita Paradhepi Jane, Kripa Mantra Tarayo, Isha the Bashpara Dhrero Shri Virajinetreyo. Okay, so let's look at this verse here. Lord Mahavir's iris, kinki, became faint, and his eyes were slightly moist with compassion to those who committed crimes against him. May his compassionate eyes be auspicious. Now, it is said that Bhagwan Mahavir in his entire lifetime only shed tears only once in his lifetime. And those tears were when the Sangam Dev, for many years, for months, was actually giving lots of tortures to Bhagwan Mahavir. And for this went on for months and months and months. And towards the end, Bhagwan Mahavir actually started feeling compassion, not saying, oh, ketlo kharab che, akla bada mane torture kare che, a kare che, but ke aa je dev je che, akla bada mane torture kare che, ene keva karma baindha che. What kind of karma has he bound? Ke ene nu su thase. With all this pain he has given me, what's going to happen to his fate? And out of that compassion, Akmati is 1 or 2 drops of tears come out of his eyes. Can you imagine the compassion? If someone is your enemy, who is giving you so much intense suffering, and then you've got compassion towards them, I think it's almost next to impossible in our day and age. So this is what's kind of signifying Bhagwan compassion. So may his compassionate eyes be auspicious. Shri Virya Jina Netrayoho. Jayati Vijitanya Teja, Sura Suradisa Srevita Sriman, Vimalastra Savirita Stripumanacha Manir Bhagwan. Victory to Arihant, who has become victorious by overcoming other religious leaders. At that time of even Bhagwan Mahavirata, there were also other different religious viewpoints who were saying, no, your viewpoint is wrong, ours is right. He is venerated by the kings of heavenly and evil spirits. He is endowed with a wealth such as omniscience. He is pure, divide of the 18 sins. Apne 18 pap ave ne 18 pap stanak mai 7 lakh apne jare bole then 18 pap ave che. So he is pure of the without the 18 sins and free from the 7 types of fear. He is like a crown jewel of the 3 worlds. Now, if I had to end my talk today, I think it's very, very, very important to understand this particular verse here. Veera Sarva Sura Surendra Mahito Veeram Buddha Sanshrita Veerena Bihata Swakarma Nichayo Veeraya Nityam Namah Veera Tirthamidam Pravritamatulam Veerasya Ghoram Tapo Veere Sri Dhriti Kirti Kanti Nichaya Shri Veera Bhadram Disha. This apna Potters Barma, the mood nayak is Bhagwan Mahavir, and I strongly encourage that even if you don't learn the entire Sakalarhat Stotra, this is one verse which I strongly encourage you all to learn. It's beautiful, and the importance of this verse, it not only is venerating Lord Mahavir, but it's in Sanskrit. So, for example, if you got a noun, mango, or apple. So you've got a noun. Each noun has got what they call is declensions, different forms of the nouns. And in Sanskrit, there are 8 of such these cases. So what the poet has done has used all these different 8 cases and weaved them into this beautiful poetic stuti. So let me first sort of example say what it means here. So what are the 8 ones? Nominative means subject. So I eat mango. So I am a subject and mango is the object. So that's accusative. Or you can do the other way around. The mango is eaten by me. So the mango now becomes a subject and eaten by me. So that means I become now the object, because the mango is the subject and I become the object. So in this way, there are different forms of nouns. So for example, O Veer. So that's vocative, addressing Veer. Instrumental means by means of. Vire, so by means of Vir. This is for or deity, Viraya. Apne Ganeshaya, to Ganesh or to Vir, Viraya. From Vir. So that's Virat. So it's and what's the difference here is the endings. Virat, Viraya. So the beginning part is the same, it's the ending which changes. Genitive means Virasya, belonging to Vir, and located in Vir or on Vir is Vire. So if you now look at this one here, Vira Sarva Sura Surendra Mahito, Mahavir is venerated by all the celestial beings. So here you can see Virha. So Vira becomes the nominative. So as you can see here, Vira is nominative, is a subject. So here, so Vira is a subject, and so Mahavir is venerated by all the celestial beings. So these are the objects, celestial and inferior beings. So that's using this one, Vira Sarva Sura Surendra Mahito. Now let's look at the next case. Viram Buddha Sansrita. Learned scholars, Buddha Sansrita, take Mahavir's refuge. So now Mahavir has become the object here. Learned scholars are the subject. So and because he's the object, what is the form of the object? Oops. Object is Viram. So Viram Buddha Sansrita. So you can see why it's called Viram. Virena. So this becomes instrumental. Mahavir, by his own self, overcame his own heap of karmas. This is very important. Tirthankars do not have someone else. They are they themselves, through their own knowledge, took diksha. They get their self-realized, and then they became Keval Gnan. So Bhagavan Mahavir, they did not have any gurus before them. So they were themselves like Potpotenage. Mahavir, by his own self, overcame his own heap of karmas. Then Viraya Nityam Namaha. Viraya Nityam Namaha means always give obeisance to Mahavir. To. So that's why it's Viraya. To Mahavir. Then it says Virat Tirthamidam Pravrittamatulam. So Virat. The ending is AT. At Virat. And what does this mean? From. This incomparable fourfold Sangh has been established from the time of Mahavir. Sankhati Statyo. From the time of Mahavir. So that's why it's Virat. Virat Tirthamidam Pravrittamatulam. Virasya Goram Tapo. Vir's penance was intense and formidable. Bhagwan je apne tapasya keri, akla 12 varas jungle mata, and they penance keri, to Vir's penance. So that becomes the genitives. The seventh case is Vire, locative. Vire Shri Dhriti Kirti Kanti Nichaya. So in Mahavir, there is a collection of spiritual wealth, patience, fame, and brilliance. Kirti, Kanti. So all these things is in Vir. Vir has got this within him. And the eighth case, Shri Veera Bhadradisha. So eighth case is, O Mahavir. This is like, addressing someone. O King, O Lord. So, O Vir, bestow upon me spiritual prosperity. So can you see, so beautiful. The entire Sanskrit declinations, as they call, of nouns, which are 8, they're all been encapsulated in this beautiful verse. And as I said, this is, and even the rag, it's a very beautiful rag. So I would strongly encourage you to read this. There are 35 verses, I'm on 30. So I'll just read the meanings of the remaining 5 and then leave 1 or 2 minutes for questions. I wholeheartedly venerate Jineshwar Bhagwan's temples, which are either natural or man-made, below the earth in the dwellings of Bhanupati gods and in magnificent celestial planes of heavenly beings. So this verse is saying that apna je Bhagwana derasar je che, not only they could be either natural or they could be man-made. So apne derasar banawe che. So for example, they say Palitana che Saswat che. So even though Palitana could have been a huge mountain, and even it might, as volcanoes happen or if earthquakes happen or something happens, even it becomes very small, but it will still, even if it becomes this small, but it's always going to become a tirth. So it's Shashwat, it's eternal. It's never going to be destroyed. And there are again temples in, so for example, Devi Hoy, they might have their own vehicles or their own places where they stay, and they could have temples in Devlokma and Hoysake. So this verse is saying, Jaja temples se Bhagwan, whether on this earth here, in heavenly regions, whether they are man-made or whether they're natural, they're going to be always existing. I'm venerating all the Bhagwans in all these different temples. This one is saying, we do deep meditation on Lord Mahavir, who is the best amongst the wise and learned people, foremost amongst all the supreme souls, Lord of the heavenly gods and omniscient. Here he's saying, oh Deva. Now, Dev, generally people would think that he's referring to Devlok, but now it's referring to Lord Mahavir. You are like a fire to destroy the great sins accrued over many lives. And you are like a garland that adorns a lady for attaining liberation. આપણે કોઈને સન્માન આપવું હોય તો how do we do? કોઈને આપણે હાર આપીએ છીએ. So, oh Lord, you are like a garland. So for attaining liberation. Oh Mahavir, again, this is referring to Mahavir. You help destroy the 18 sins, like a lion that destroys a herd of elephants. Just like one lion can destroy the entire herd of elephants, you can help us destroy all these 18 sins, Adar Pap. Please bestow the desired fruit of liberation to the blessed and souls capable of being liberated. So these are the 18 paps. Now the last two verses is saying, is now giving names of the different tirths. Prominent Astapad mountain, Gajapad mountain, Samet Shikhar, glorious Girnar mountain, Satrunjay mountain, and Mandagaud. And then it's saying Vaibhargiri, Kanakalchal, Mount Abu, Chitrakut. In this and all other pilgrimages, may Lord Rishabh and the other Tirthankars bestow blessings to you to attain liberation. So that's basically all the all the verses. That's the end of Sakalarhat Stotra. You can these prayers is actually on the website Jain Treasures. You can visit the website, and if you just wanted to follow some more prayers and other tirths, then you can sort of just send me a link, and you can join some of the different social media platforms I have got here. But any questions?
Anyone has any questions, please can you raise your hand?
Sorry. So was there any questions?
No, I don't think anyone has any questions.
Okay. In that case, Jai Jinendra, thank you very much. And apologies if I made any errors in any of my explanations or any of the translations of the verses. Jai Jinendra.
Thank you, Rajeev Bhai.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rajeev Bhai, for the beautiful 3 sessions.
Thank you.
They were very informative. Jai Jinendra.
Jai Jinendra. Thank you again. Thank you.
Thank you, Jai
Rajeev Bhai.
Jinendra. Rajeev Bhai, really informative and really enjoyed the talk.
सकल विश्वना नाथ हे प्रभु शरण आवियो आबाळता हरो अधिक बुद्धि तू शुद्ध आपजे प्रभु कृपा करी कष्ट कापजे नव कदी करी भक्ति भाव थी नव कथा सुनी निज कान थी स्मरण ना कर्યું तेम ताहरू नाथ भलु थशे केम माहरू बहु बहु कुड़ा कर्म में किधा धन धुति करी पार का लिधा गरीब रंकने दुख आपिया तरु सुधर्मना देह का पिया अधिक लोभनी लालचे फसी फिकर ना धरी चित्त मां कशी कथन कई कुड़ा में मुखे कर्या वचन नीतिना सर्व विसर्या करवड़े कदी धर जगतनाथ हूँ डर्यो नहीं जरे अनेक पाप में संसार मां कर्या चरण थी कदी चाली ना गयो प्रभु सुपंथ मां दूर तो रह्यो चरण पाप ने पंथ तो धर्यो दीन विषे नहीं ते थकी डर्यो छल प्रपंच ने धूर्त काम मां नव कदी मुकी ओ छप हाम मां अधम जात नो प्राणी हो खरो प्रभु तू थी रह्यो सर्वदा परो कर गमे तने जे प्रभु हवे अहीं बळुं छूं पाप संग